Welcome to Bed Talk. It's been a minute. Um, there has been a change. We are now visual. This is not just a voice and a picture. You can now see
Yeah.
who we're chatting to. You've heard him before. Now you're seeing him, which apparently you don't like, but he's doing me a favor and letting himself be seen. Um, but yeah, reintroduce yourself to the people, man.
All right. Well, I'm Josh. Just Josh. That's all I am. Just a guy trying to coach and trying to inspire the next generation of athletes to empower themselves and reach their goals and ambitions. Yeah, and I'm just a sprints coach. Yeah, that's that's me. Coaching at the Manchester Regional Arena. Um, yeah, I've been here a couple of years now. Maybe that. Well, actually, been here for a year, really. Coaching sprints anyway.
I'm gonna say
Um,
because
yeah,
it took a minute for to.
yeah, not too long, but yeah, here we are, back again.
Okay. Let's get straight into it. So what we're gonna discuss today, if the start, I think we're just gonna go from the season that's just been.
A lot has happened in the past year
It
since we
has.
spoke
It's been a
last.
busy season for the circuit. It's been a busy season for things going on with the athletes that we know. Uh, your group, obviously. It's been a busy year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been and a productive one, I think, as well. In a quick summary, a productive one.
It's been productive, but it's also been trying at times. It's been a huge learning experience as well. And I think one of the things that I've learnt this year is that you know there isn't a one size fits all when it comes to coaching anyway. You have to play, if you pay close attention to each individual, you'll notice things and you'll notice patterns. And if you adhere to those patterns, if you adhere to those things, then you have the best opportunities to get the best results. If you ignore those patterns, if you ignore those signs in the athletes, then you won't get the best results. You won't get you won't be able to optimize you know the best performances. And that's something that I'm all about. I'm not the type of coach to take on athletes and not build on their performances, whether it's race by race or year by year. I'm not interested in just one off decent performances and then everything else is garbage, and then you're there blaming the athlete, saying it's the athlete's fault, it's in the athlete's head, and all this nonsense that you hear coaches throwing around often. Um, I have to get to the root of the problem. As you've seen earlier on this season, we had some issues with some athletes, and it bugged us. And
Mm.
we got to the root of the cause, and it led for a different outcome outdoors. For those of you who don't understand, we're talking about indoors is sort of the shorter sprints, so like the 60 meters. Outdoors is like the 100 meters and 200 meters. Indoors, we had some okay results.
Mm.
Still had personal best, but
Mm.
it wasn't as great as the athletes could have performed.
That
And
was timing as well. You hadn't had them long. People were on different time scales onto how long you've had them and
yeah,
so forth and so forth. So
yeah.
there
Well,
was
I
a lot of
mean,
factors to that.
yeah, there was. I mean, but nevertheless, I still got personal best out of every athlete
Mm.
indoors. Despite me knowing that they could have done better, and outdoors, having learned what I learned from the indoor season, taking it outside, got better performances outdoors. So
Yeah.
a lot of learning that happened for sure.
So you kind of touched on what I said anyway. So I was gonna say the overall performance of the group. Obviously,
Yeah.
how would you? I know
Summarize. Yeah.
you said to me that you wasn't you was meh about it. Um, but how do you feel about your? How about you feel about the overall group by the end of the season or last season? Sorry.
I want to say like 90% of athletes ran faster than they've ever ran before. So everyone more or less ran personal records or personal bests, however you understand it. One or two people joined me towards the end of the season with injuries, but I still wanted them to race, at the end of the season, like put 6 to 8 week block of training in, rehab them first, put solid 6 to 8 weeks of training in, and sort of see what happens at the end of it. And we got a okay result, but that was one of the athletes, and the other athletes got close to their personal best anyway with short amount of training. So it speaks volumes, to be honest, to the athletes themselves, and also to the training program for each individual. So guys would come to me late in the season with personal bests from 2 3 years ago. They'd come to me, having not ran a personal best for 2 3 years, as I said, and they might be broken, injured in some way, and I spend time with them, we fix the issues, and we get close to their best. I mean, but I'm someone always looking for the best result. I want the best result because I know how much it means to them. So I'm not a patient man, if I'm honest. You know that. I'm not a patient man at all. I want the best results, and I want it as soon as possible, because in this sport we don't have a lot of time. We have a short window. One day you're making jokes. You're 18 years old making fun of the guy who's 30. Then before you know it, you're 29, and you don't know where all the time's gone. You haven't run a personal best in years, and you're still trying to make it, and it's tough. So I'm no nonsense. I cut out the middlemen, cut out all the BS, and we get straight to it and aim for the personal best and the records to try and change our lives.
So biggest high from this year?
Biggest high, I would say, was that's an interesting question, because I don't know how to. Uh, I can't singly choose a biggest high, but what I can say is everyone PB'd, everyone ran personal records,
or close to.
or close to, and it's always exciting because it proves that your theory, your ideology as a coach works, and you're gelling with the athlete. Biggest high though, I would say it's a collective. It was all successes really. So yeah.
Not biggest low, lowest low.
Lowest low. You talking track related?
I mean, if you are bringing personal things out to it, then you can. But I'm just saying, I was thinking track in the season.
We'll keep it with track. Biggest low, I would say. There is none. I mean, I would say one of the guys that I was coaching, that I've been coaching for 6 to 8 weeks. He came to me towards the back end of the season. It was a real shame that we only got to get one race out of him. So we trained for 6 to 8 weeks, and then we had one race, September 3rd, that's just gone. Everyone else ran PBs except for him, and it's because he hadn't raced in 3 or so months. So if we had 2, maybe 3 more races, we would have got him close to some super fast times, but we only had one opportunity to nail it, and it takes a while to do that.
This is your patience kicking in again.
That's my lack of patience, yes. And I do have to remember that these guys, all my athletes are humans, of course, and they don't use performance enhancing aids. So it's just one of those things where I have to be patient and just allow it to prevail.
Okay.
But yeah, that would probably be my something that's nagging me. Like I can't, like I'm the type of person I can't let things go.
You're gonna have to let it go.
For example,
let it go.
I'm the type, if I'm in the gym and I'm supposed to be doing 10 reps and I do 9, that one rep that I missed will bug me for a week.
But why you're not messing? You could just get the one rep and be done. That's still
No,
10.
no, no. If you leave the gym, if I've left the
Yeah,
gym because that
yeah,
one
that's a
that
different
yeah.
situation.
So
Yes.
so this guy he didn't. I didn't get that last. And some coaches are okay with
But I won't
nine
even use that as
athletes.
an example because the rep is in your control. You can still get the one rep. You didn't have to leave. That situation
No, but
there was what it was. Like you had the time scale you was given, and
yeah,
you did what you could do in the
yeah,
time
you're
scale.
right. But nevertheless, that that coaches are okay with having 10 athletes and 9 of them run a personal best and one of them doesn't. I'm not okay with that. I need all 10 of my athletes to run personal best and smash records and be happy and be successful. I'm not okay with 9 guys or 9.5 guys doing well and
That's a
one of them
nine and a
doesn't do
half.
well. I need every single one of them to achieve what we know that they can achieve and what they set out to do. That's just my coaching philosophy. That's just how I am. And I don't care what anyone else, how anyone else feels about that. That's how I am. I expect something and I will work tooth and nail to ensure that we get that result.
And that is okay, but we still need to take into consideration time.
There is no time. Time is made up. Time isn't reality. There's no such thing as time.
Right. Um, your biggest takeaway from the season, I guess. What do you take away the
That's a
most
good question.
from the season?
My biggest takeaway would probably be that each athlete is an individual and you have to understand each athlete's needs and cater to that. You have to cater to the individual's needs, not just coaching to coach the event. Oh, it's 100 meters, so we work for this amount of duration. No, each individual is different, and what I found by doing that is because that was something that I didn't necessarily. That's something I didn't do in the indoor season. Um, I was kind of going off a general ethos, and even though they still ran personal best like that, I didn't optimize because I wasn't working to the strength of the individual, and that's something that going forward, for this next indoors, I aim to get some super results because that's something I've taken away from the whole of this year.
Okay. Let's go to the circuit. World champs.
Okay.
Uh, let's talk about winners. So the men's, obviously, for the sprints. Well, that's what we're going to talk about really. Anyway, is Lyles
Mm-hmm.
1 and the 2. Did we see that coming? Did we want that to come? Like, what was your thought? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I won't lie. I'll be honest. I chose Coleman to win the 100.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Coleman to win the 100. But in hindsight, makes sense why he didn't. But it also makes sense why he's doing the things he's doing now, and he's gonna be a problem next season. Christian Coleman, I'm talking about. It's gonna be a big problem. Noah Lyles, you can't sleep on him. I guess
No.
you can't sleep on Noah Lyles. He's a championship guy. He's a sharp guy. He's someone who he's the best of the best. He's very elite. So it was quite foolish to bet against him, to be honest.
It's not that I didn't bet against him, and I had him down as a threat. I had Curly down as the winner for the 1 and Noah for the 2. So when Curly went out in the semis, I was like, "Yo, like,
No, I saw that
what's
coming.
going on?" Jacobs, I knew he was posting all these videos. That was a whole wind up. I'm looking at these videos. I'm like, bro, you about to come here and do absolutely nothing,
Nothing. Yeah.
and he did exactly that.
Okay. What about
So
Zarnell? Do you not have Zarnell in there as what he had the world lead?
Zana was a late surprise, though. Don't forget because he came. It was only till he came to. No, it was the competition before he came to British Champs that he did that time, and
No, he ran. He ran. Well, he ran.
no, he did the world lead at the competition before.
What the 100 for the
Over
100?
the
Yeah,
100,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So he did
yeah.
the world lead the competition before
Yeah.
champs. So
But it's who he beat in the race and how he did it.
it was a late, but it was still late. Sort of like everyone else was kind of doing the times earlier on, and then he just came through with a flurry and was just like, okay, so you're putting your name in the hat. type thing.
Yeah, but from that race to then winning trials in 10:05 in the driving rain,
Mm,
that's become a meme everywhere.
mm.
That rain was
It
crazy.
was shut down the whole thing.
10:05 like that, and then 1977 in the 200, win dated or not, you didn't have him to feature in the 100.
I think I had him for bronze in both 1 and 2. I had him for bronze in 1 and 2 for sure, or I could, the potential to do so if
Yeah.
it went right in his favor.
Yeah.
Um,
But Noah, I mean, he had to run a personal. That's his personal best to do that. I did Tobago. I didn't see that happening. I didn't see
no,
Tobago running 19. What did he run? 986. 986,
I'm not
985,
sure.
something like that. African record, not African record. The record for Botswana, and the way he looked in the first round. I mean, what Tobago's doing is he's just a kid. He's just doing what kids do. They just run fast, wake up, run fast, go to bed. He looks like a kid. He runs like a kid, but he's just running world class times. He's just running super world class, super fast times. In terms of the 200 though,
I wasn't really invested. I
nah,
think I gave all my energy to the 100 for the men's. I don't know why, but I was so excited for it. We was all here in the canteen.
yeah.
Like I was a buzz for it, but for some reason I didn't even really watch much of the heats. I didn't go out my way. I did watch them, but I didn't go out my way to be like present to watch the heats and the semis. I think I was on time for the final for the 2, but I wasn't really too.
Underwhelming, I think, is
Yeah, I wasn't
the best
invested
word.
in, and even when it was done, I was like, okay, on to the next.
Yeah, it was pretty underwhelming, to be honest. I mean, we're coming off the year before. The year prior, he'd ran 19.3, and the way he ran that just looked incredible. But he didn't do the 100 though, so that obviously is going to take some energy out of you. He just ran a personal best, and then you know, second was
Nineteen, isn't it?
oh
No, he
yeah,
came.
Knighton,
What he come third?
Arian Knighton, yeah, got second. I think Tobago got third. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, Knighton, for me, he I think is the future of the 200. If I'm honest, I think he's gonna have to get that 100-meter time down a bit though.
Has he done 100?
Yeah, he has. He has been 100.
Yeah.
He's not super fast over the 100, but he's gonna have to get that 100-meter time down in order to, because Tobago's gonna be an issue. He's run 1950, I think. Like, and what's his name's ran 1949, so they're right there and thereabouts. But yeah, that's my real summary of the men's sort of 100 and 200. But
The
look out
women, though.
Okay.
Oh, that was entertaining,
Yeah, it
though.
was.
1 and 2 was
Yeah, it was.
entertaining.
Yeah.
That 100-meter final was probably one of my favorites because
Yeah.
the way Sha'Carri came through,
It's quite reminiscent of 2017 when Gatlin did what he did. He was out in lane 8 or lane 9 next to Reese Prescott. He qualified third in the semi final. She qualified third as well, maybe.
She didn't look that hot.
She didn't look great either.
In the semis.
And in the final, just puts the race together. We're all running in a straight line,
5.
and then she runs 10. She celebrated as well at the finish line. I didn't even see that. But when you watch the slow mo, she celebrates in the
It
semi.
was
wild,
Joe.
the finish line.
You're just concentrating so in depth on Shelly Ann and Jackson,
Sharika, yeah.
And then she just snuck out of nowhere, just came up and
she's got really good top end speed. Sha'Carri.
Yeah.
She's got really good top end speed. So
then
the 200
Jackson with the 2. Oh my days, bro. That was a dominant force.
Yeah, it was.
Like she came out and was like, well, this is my event. Yeah. The 1, do what you want doing it. The 2 though, don't come around here thinking you're about to do something, please.
Yeah.
She took off, and then when she got onto that home straight, I
really want to see what the head-to-head is going to look like over the next couple of years between her and Shikari over the 100. Because I think if Sharika can, get her like peak at the right time for the 100 meters, I don't think you beat her if I'm honest. Because 10:65 is great, it's fast, it's really, but women have gone faster than that. Elaine Thompson's ran 10:54, Sharika's ran 10:6 as well. So, um, you know, it's good, and I think that's her personal best now, 65. Shikari.
Kari.
So that's her personal best. But these other girls, they can really test her. I don't know if Shelly Ann's on her way out. I don't know, but
Just nearing.
yeah. I mean, this season obviously she was injured, and she comes out. She opened her season with a 10:8 late, and then goes straight to the championships, and she still picks up a bronze medal and runs 10:7. So I don't know. If she can keep herself together and keep going next season, maybe she might be back to her close to her best.
It was the next thing or the last thing from the world champs for me though was the men's British 4x1 final. That, bro, when I say I watched that and I took that so personal, like I was eligible to be in that race, it vexed me so much. Like
I think
feel like
I had a conversation with another coach yesterday about this same situation, and what it is they say that Jamili is versatile. He can run various legs. Out of the people he was there, I know that Jonah Efoloco, I know that he's also capable as well. I mean, of course, I would have chosen Jonah as well, if I'm honest. But I think in their mind, it was he's versatile. He can
fuck
run.
all. Whoops, my bad. See, it's getting me vexed again. Forget all that, bro. This guy has been missing for a few seasons. MIA, like you've not really heard or seen him in any situation to be excited about to see his name in any sort of lineup. Then on top of that, we find out you were 32nd in Britain. Not even in the world, but in Britain you're 32nd. There's 31 other people faster than you. Don't come talk to me about experience and versatile because you're not even of doing a caliber to be versatile for.
But he's paid. He's paid.
Nah, well,
he's paid to do the relay.
So come on the plane and do your face, be a face, and be an advisor, but sit down. You had no business being on that track. You came out in the heats and just about scraped us through, and that was a sign from everyone watching to say you don't need to be here. And even he openly said, I'm not up to where I need to be.
Yeah, he did.
So what vexed me even more about that is that you've gone through the heats now. You were guaranteed a medal at this point. If the rest of the team medals in the finals, you were gonna get a medal. Yeah. So you didn't have to be in the final.
No.
So when someone came to you and said, "Oh, we want you in the final," you should have been man enough to say, "You know what? I'm not up to par right now. Like I'm gonna be a hindrance."
So
you should have done it, man. I'm not even. And then if you want to do all this, if everyone wants to talk about chemistry and camaraderie and all the rest of it, that's all the more reason why he should have stepped down and said, "You know what? Joan has been running faster than me, and is capable of."
Yeah, because he would have still got a medal because he ran in the heats, innit?
Yeah, so he's capable because we've seen him do this event, that relay and this relay and done well. So I'm gonna step down and.
So you think it was selfish for him to?
Yes,
I understand that, but it's like a football player, right? A football player might not be at his best, right? But he still wants to play. He's got passion. He still wants to go out there and shine. And it's an individual sport at the same time as well.
But you have to equate that to
I mean, to be fair, let's be honest about this though, right? If he wasn't there and they chose an alternate, would they have still got a medal though?
Yes, they came fourth.
Yeah, I know.
If Jonah was in place of Jamili, they would have got third.
Yeah. Who was on last leg? Zono? No, it wasn't Zono.
Is it Adida? What's I forgot his
Oh,
name.
Azu? Oh
Azu.
no, Eugene Ambadadi, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
he was on last
I
night.
mean, look, let me be honest with you, right? The reason why I don't really have too much of an opinion on this is because this is an individual sport. The relay just closes off the event. Like it is what it is. Like I when I was competing, I didn't, and nobody really comes into the sport to say, "Hey, I want to
Go
be
be the
a relay
relay
world
team.
champion."
Yeah.
No one really cares about that. Let's be real. Like it's just it is what it is. Like
You know why I'm gonna disagree with that though?
yeah,
Is because when I was saying to you at the time again, like you have to remember what goes into wanting to be at that pinnacle. The time, the hard work, the graft, the blood, the sweat, the tears, the letdowns,
yeah,
the injuries, it all accumulates into the experience of athletics. So you go through all of that to be able to be in a position to say, I'm a GB runner.
correct.
So when you're now hindering the experience or not allowing other people to be a part of that experience, so those 31 people that were ahead of Jamili, one of them should have gone.
Like I hear what you're saying, but all those things that you mentioned that it takes to become GB international, the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears. Those things should be poured into you as an individual athlete, not you as a relay runner. And if you don't make it
No,
as an
I'm not saying
individual,
as a relay runner. I'm saying just on a whole, like what comes with being or aspiring to be GB or have that vest and to have that accolade of saying that you're a GB runner. It all encompasses with it the travel, the individual event, the relay event, especially as a sprinter anyway. It's all encompassed into wearing it. That's what you want.
it's true. But ultimately, you do it because it's an individual. You want to be an individual, champion. You want to be the best that you can be.
Mm.
And I think relay comes second best. So if you're mad because you don't because you didn't for some reason, because here's the bottom line of all of this, and this is what I explain to my athletes on a daily basis. At the end of the day, if you allow room for discussion or debate because you haven't reached the top, you're not the best, you haven't come top three, then you have to expect whatever comes. If you're not first three past the post, or if you're not number one past the post, you can't expect anything. You should expect favoritism. You should expect someone's opinion, to choose somebody else over yourself. Because the fact of the matter is, Zarnell doesn't have this problem. Why doesn't Zarnell have this problem? What's the common denominator? Common denominator is he wins and he runs the qualifying time. If you're running mediocre times and you're coming fourth, well, guess what, my friend? Expect to be overlooked. Expect for room for debate and opinions and this and that. But the fact of the matter is, you do this sport to be the best. And it's very tough. But this is the sport you chose. Put up or shut up. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Because it's a hard world, and life's unfair. But it's not unfair when you're the best and when you're number one. That's
True.
just how it is.
All right,
Yeah.
moving on to certain outs before I get all up in my feelings again. Um, so in fact, to close out the circuit part,
Mhm.
who's your most notable athlete of the year?
Christian Coleman. And I'll tell you why. Not just because he's my favorite.
You know, this guy.
Let me tell you.
Oh my
Let me
days!
tell you this,
Go on.
right? Let me tell you this, right? Okay, so Christian Coleman is obviously he got his suspension and whatnot. Um, he was out of the sport for what, 2 years, 18 months, however long it was, but he missed more or less 2 seasons.
Hmm.
He's on the comeback trail,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the one to watch because the way that he's improving and coming back next season, he should be back to his best. And when a fit, healthy, sharp Christian Coleman is very, very dangerous. So much so that he's number one. And the thing is, it for me, it's a great story because This is a guy who comes back from his suspension or whatever. He got a slap on the wrist. He does what he done, whatever. Missed his test and whatever. But it's the comeback trail. It's the fact that he's taken a lot of beating from everybody, from Marcel Jacobs to Noah Lyles to he's been beaten by everyone. The Jamaicans, he's been dragged around the circuit and been beaten, and now he's on the comeback trail. This is a guy who's a former world champion, 2019, ran 976. And we still have not seen the best of this man. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to him and how he sort of features in the next coming seasons. So he's someone for me that's just one to watch. Yeah.
I would say the same, but for Shaqiri.
Okay.
I think her comeback has been just in the
It's not really a comeback though, is it?
It is though, because she lost her mum.
Okay.
Obviously, went about it the way that she shouldn't have gone about it. Served her time as well. Had the times that had a substantial amount of time out,
No,
and had to work. But
no. Shikari got in trouble for smoking cannabis.
right,
She missed 40 days or something like that, a certain amount of days. It was like 3 months.
but
So she serves her. Basically, she misses the world championships.
mm,
She comes back at the end of the season and races against the girls who were sharper at the world championship. She comes last, and then this season, no. Wait, have I missed a year? No,
I
this was
don't
last
know.
year, right?
Was it? I don't
Yeah, it
remember.
was last year at the World Champs in Eugene. Yeah, it's because that's where they had the American champs as well. She didn't go to Eugene, and then they had the Diamond their Diamond League there again.
I feel like you're underselling losing a mum though. At that period,
But
she's probably
but
on a
but but,
downward spiral.
but there's people who've
Because
lost their parents.
I remember watching. She was all over the IG and all the rest of it, just doing a mazzo. Nothing was about training.
Mhm.
I feel like she just turned up to competitions because maybe she was contractually
Yeah,
obligated to
obligated.
do
Yeah,
so. So I feel like up here, she was, and at heart, she was going through the maddest of
I'm not.
stuff.
I'm not down. I'm not downplaying anyone losing a loved one. It's.
So that's why I would equate the equivalence of them both
Mm.
being the same, I guess.
Yeah, maybe she wasn't like mentally present,
Yeah.
but she was physically present. Yeah, so okay.
Um. What else have we got? I guess just to finish up on the circuit or athletics in general is just this. What do you take? What's your take on the state of the sport at the moment?
Um, the World Championships in Budapest was probably the best World Championships I've seen since the 80s and 90s.
I would say
I haven't seen a stadium packed like that in
okay.
years. I mean, okay, London 2012 was pretty, but that's the Olympics.
Mm.
So,
The Olympics is always, but
well, with the exception of Tokyo, I guess that was COVID, but
yeah.
yeah. Um, so, but Budapest looked fantastic. It was filled. The weather looked good. We had great performances. That's what we need. We need more of that. We need
Mm.
more packed stadiums, people going in to watch it. So it goes to show people actually still enjoy watching this sport. Maybe one thing that might be important would be to host these events in cities that actually care about track and field, because the World Championships in Eugene, it was only the home straight that was filled. The back straight had dots of people. So in America, they just don't care about track and field like that. That's
Mm.
just the reality of it. NFL, basketball, um, you know,
Baseball.
baseball, all of that stuff, they care about that. Over here, football's massive. It's always packed out. You get 60,000 people a week at a football game. Great. We need the same thing in track and field. Hold a Diamond League where they actually care about it, and people are going to come and support and watch the sport. But I think track and field's on the rise. I think it's in a great place. I think it's on its way up, and Big shout out to the AIU, who were going around catching these drug cheats, these dirty vermins that are trying to contaminate our sport with their tramp selves. Yeah, big shout out to the AIU, man. You know, anyone who thinks that they're, can get away with it and you get busted, good.
I'm still not happy with the televisation of it.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
yeah.
doing me in. Like between the BBC, I don't know who's in charge of it, whether the BBC dictate it or whether it's something that the IAF say or whatever.
Well, that flex.
But this watching lap upon lap stuff is driving me nuts. Like I get it, people are out there that enjoy watching the 10,000 and the 1,500s and the whatnots. We all have our own individual likes and dislikes for the disciplines that we have, but when you are prioritizing such a long event when other things are happening around the place and not showing any of it other than a quick highlight of something, it's almost discriminatory.
The thing is, I think track and field is like no other sport. So I think it's hard to get that balance and to get it right.
It's not though, because if you can red button the Wimbledon and you can pick which match you want to go watch,
Yeah.
then why can't you red button the events? Like press green if you want to go watch
Long
the triple jump or whatever. So it's doable. They just either don't want to do it or it's just not being done.
I think a lot goes into it, into being able to do that, and that obviously comes down to money. And as we know, track and field doesn't have that much money. Wimbledon has a lot more money, I think, than track and field. So I think when you've got finance, then you've got the options of doing many things. But yeah, I think televising it, in a better fashion, I think, is going to help.
To wind up this season, AVP Sprint Series, it got done. The first one got done.
Yeah.
How did that feel completing that?
So the Alexander Vidal Sprint Series is our open meeting that we have. Athletes are able to and have the opportunity to come down here to the Manchester Regional Arena and run with the wind. So the wind is going in the right direction. I think it was something that was needed. I think it was something that was needed. I think all the fast times that we're getting in this country tend to be coming from down south in the London area because they've taken that innovation and they're having these track meets where athletes are able to run with the wind. So they're having super fast times. But up here, that's something that's not happening. Athletes are still running on not the best of track surfaces and running into gale force, headwinds. And, you train 8, 9, 10 months out of the year only to go and run 12 times into the wind. So each time you run, you could be running personal best, you could be getting good neurological patterning going on, and you're just not getting it. You're just running into resistance. You train to run fast, but then when it's time to perform, you go and run against resistance. Doesn't make sense. Something that needed to change. So that's the reason why that track meeting, was fantastic for the North, and I think fantastic for the sport. And many people were commenting saying that it's something that they needed up here, and that they were so elated that that competition happened. One of the biggest takeaways that I got from that was the food. The other thing was a lot of the track meetings that happen up the north, they usually sell burgers and fries, and 7-Up. But at the Alexander Vidal Sprint Series, they had a Caribbean food shop called Glorious Grill, and they came and they were given a delicious delicious brown stew chicken, rice and peas, curry, all the trimmings.
I think it was just an exposure with all. It was just a whole different vibe. The music.
There was music from DJ Marcel Stevens.
Yes,
shout out to him.
Marcel. The music, the food, just the vibe of just the relaxation of it all made it the event that it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
people wanted to be there.
Yeah.
They enjoyed the vibe. They enjoyed the atmosphere, And fortunately for them, the next one's going to be April 10th, and then we're going to be hosting many more throughout the season. So yeah, it was a really, really, really good turnout. So look out for that again. Alexander Vidal Sprint Series. It's
Okay.
going down.
So we're done. The season's over with. We are now in the break period,
Yep.
and people are gonna start trickling back in to get ready for winter.
Yeah.
So this is Olympic year.
Mhm.
What do we think is gonna happen?
Well, first of all, one of my athletes is going to be there. That's happening. Um, we're working hard to ensure that this happens. And you can try, right? You know,
Hey,
there's no
no harm in
there's
doing it.
no reason why, you know, to try. I mean,
Shoot for the what is it? Shoot for the
and I don't believe
shoot
in
for
it.
the stars.
They say shoot for the stars and you know,
Hit the
shoot for the
moon.
moon and hit
Hit the
some
stars. Or something
garbage.
like that.
No, you shoot for the moon, you aim, you land on the moon. You shoot for the stars, you aim on the stars. You shoot for the ground, you land on the ground. Wherever you decide that you want to land yourself, you make sure you land yourself there. Don't settle for anything less than what you aim for, and that's it. There's no there's no discussion.
Anything else is a failure.
No. Well, yes, of course. There's nothing else. There is
Fair
nothing
enough.
else. If you shoot for the moon, you aim for the moon, you land yourself on the moon, and that's the same with the stars or wherever other saying you want. People are all too comfortable with shooting for something, getting close to it, and saying, "Oh, well, you know, it was a great." No,
We almost got
we
it.
almost no. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not happy with that, and I'm not happy until I succeed. I do what I set out to do. So yes, it's Olympic year. We have some huge goals and targets set amongst my own group. So we're going to be working hard to achieve those things. And in terms of like the sport, though, I mean, in fact, before I even get onto that, you know, it's going to be a very busy year with competitions indoors and outdoors. My group has grown slightly. So we're going to have a few more athletes competing here, there, and everywhere. It's going to be very busy. It's going to be exciting. I'm sure it's going to pose new challenges, but any challenges that rear their head will get stamped out. No problem. So bring it on.
So I was gonna go into goals, but we've heard them now. So we've
Yeah.
had your goals. Is there any changes that you're bringing into this season?
Changes? No, not really. It's more so about building on top of what results we got this year.
Mm.
The aim is to build on top of it, and I think that's something that a lot of coaches and groups and setups don't necessarily do. I don't think the focus is to build on top of what they've already got. They change so much things, and I see this a lot. They change so much that they're left with nothing at the end of it. So the plan isn't to really change much or anything like that. It's more to add and build. And that's just in the actual fabric of the training program itself. There isn't any external sort of factors that's going to really be changing. Well, I hope not anyway, because you know how things can be. So no, not I wouldn't say so.
Biggest focus would be, I suppose, the athlete.
Yep.
Well, all the athletes are the
Yeah.
biggest focus, but that Olympic appearance main focus.
No.
No.
See, the way that my setup is, everybody has their own different goals and targets, and that individual's goal and target is to make the Olympic team. Another's is to maybe run 10.5. Another's might be to run 10.4. They're all relevant to the individuals. So they're all specific focuses for the individual. For me and them.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But how about you? You've got a new coaching group yourself. You've got a few new athletes, few new recruits.
I just
What's the plan?
I've recruited two. I have a girl and a guy. The guy is eligible for Paralympics.
Okay.
Um, it's a whole madness though. He's not eligible to run the 100 meters for whatever reasons they say, but he's eligible to do the 4, which isn't his
Natural event.
natural or chosen wanting
Yeah.
event.
It's a sucker bet.
Yeah,
It's,
so he still wants to go, but he has to go in this event. So the aim is to get him to go because I don't even think the time is out that far out of reach for him.
okay.
From his he ran the event. He ran the event last season, and he was like I think he was like 2 seconds out from the qualifying time or whatever he needs. But that's with I don't know the year that with the training that he had. That was what he came out with.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see about my principles and implementing my stuff and see if I believe for sure that we can get him to the qualifying time.
Mhm.
Uh, my girl, I see a lot of potential in her.
Yeah.
I feel like she can be one of in the mix with Britain's hitters. I really do feel like she can.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work to do, but as long as
Are you
she's
excited?
a little bit excited, but
Yeah.
butterflies too at the same
Yeah,
time.
because it's new. It's a whole
So
new.
this is now a whole. It's one of those where when I was doing it for myself, like I was at that like a dog to a bone, like that was I'm with it. Let's get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna have to monitor feelings
Yeah.
and see what people do and
Just one thing I'll say is one thing you'll notice is when the day comes when it's time for them to compete, you're probably going to be more nervous than they are.
probably.
You'll be standing on the sidelines and your heart will be pounding and beating. You'll be sweating, and it's crazy because it wasn't like that when you was competing or when I was competing.
Mm.
We weren't really nervous like that. Well, I wasn't anyway. And then, but when my athletes go out and compete, I'm a nervous wreck, man. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see that.
Um, I think I thought I had just to close this up. I'm not sure what's gone on, but the the pedigree of the times that are coming in at the moment and the circuit have not drastically dropped, but they have definitely dropped.
Mm.
We've been in an era now where we had Bolt, we had Asafa, we had all those guys, and they were doing 9.5s, 9.6 on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what happened as to why that has now disappeared.
Because the main man's gone. He's gone. Gatlin's gone. Asafa's gone. Because before those guys, the times weren't magical like we were seeing when they were around.
Mm.
And now that they've gone, the times have kind of stabilized again. But I think, like I said before, when Coleman's back in the mix, I think you're going to start seeing some crazy times again because he was someone who
Nine
could
five?
not 9.5, but I think we'll see like world championships will be won in 9.7 again. Because the last time it was won in 9.7 was when he won it. No, yeah, it was when he won it in 2019. I mean, um, Curly did run 9.7 in the heats though, but didn't win the final in 9.7. So you know, I think we will see a resurgence of those sorts of times again. But I just think that times are just stabilizing because those times are pretty quick, man.
Mm.
You know, so I do think. But no disrespect to Fred Curly, man, but I don't think you got it, man. I think you had your little stint, and I think don't think you got it, champ.
You can't talk about comeback stories and not let the man have his comeback or his chance to come
Hey,
back.
hey, listen, man. I don't write the rules. I don't write none of this. it's just an opinion. For what I've seen, it would be great to see him come back and do some stuff, and some head-to-head clashes between him and Curly and Noah and them. But see it, man.
Who are you looking out for the season to come? About, in fact,
Next year.
we already know who you're looking for.
Well,
Who's the second person you're looking for then?
I'd like to see what happens with Trayvon Bramell. I'd like to see if he comes back and does anything because
That's an odd name.
I know, but
I mean, yes, okay.
he.
But is it an odd name?
No,
No, because he was showing bits. He was coming through, and
Yeah,
then
he
he
was.
just
Yeah, I mean,
again.
obviously there was some issues with I think the whole coaching situation, and I don't know. I don't even know if his coach is still coach. I don't know what's going on there, but Marvin Bracey was looking good last year. Like he was ready to come back and do something, but I think he got hurt this year. And Trayvon just did not look good at all. So it'll be interesting to see if Trayvon comes back and if Trayvon does anything in the 100. I don't think he's someone you can count out fully.
No,
Um,
Jackson for me.
Sharika, yeah.
I want to see what she.
I think
I
we'll see a
feel like
10-5. What about Elaine? I think Elaine will show us something. Because she was injured this year. I mean, she ran 10. She ran
though. But this
10
is
the
what I
other
mean.
day.
Like, she's been injured though. She had a year where, not even a year. She had a time where she was slapping, coming up to races and trainers and dusting people.
They weren't trainers.
Was it not?
No. I thought it was as well, but it weren't trainers.
But either way, he just turned up and dusting people. But I feel like the injury happened and she's just not been right since.
Yeah.
And this year was no more indication to say that next year she'll be back.
For me, sorry. I mean, she just ran a 10-8 the other day to win Brussels.
Yeah, but you just had it. The world's running 10-6.
Yeah, but they're not injured.
I suppose.
Shelly Ann as well. She's to come back. I'd also like to see how Joseph Fombile progresses because this guy, he is something else, man. DeGrasse, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, he just ran a 19-9 in third at Brussels Diamond League as well. So, be interested to see if he maybe can feature somehow, come back. There's a lot of unanswered questions, is what I'm trying to say, in the sprints.
Do you think people have been doing it purposely because
No.
Olympic year has been coming around?
No. Because why would you like purposely mess up a year where you can make life-changing money? Because you never know what the next season can hold. You could go training again for the next 9 months or so and pull your hamstring off the bone, like Johan Blake did, and then your career is really kind of over after that. So I don't think that these guys are doing this on purpose. Sorry to be graphic with that. That's just what happened. But I think I just it's part of the game, man. You get injuries, you get niggles, you get issues, and then you bounce back.
Well, I know it'd be fun to see what happens anyway.
And look out for my guys. I'm not going to say their names, but look out for my guys because we're going to do some special work this winter, and next year we're coming at full force, man.
It's going to be fun to watch. Thanks for being on the show.
No problem, champ.
This
Always.
is the first visual one.
I feel special,
man. So yeah, thanks.
Peace out, man.
Peace.
Who called?